It's great to see old friends coming back. When I mean old, you're still all younger, because especially in CAHO, we only get younger. So I think that was the flavor of times. We had a fantastic session with the Pitch Fest, seeing some fantastic entrepreneurs, some really outstanding innovations that not only spanned healthcare in hospital, but well beyond the hospital, home care, preventative wellness, and disability health. So we had 113 business plans, which we shortlisted down to just under 20. And we had these outstanding entrepreneurs and founders come and spend time with us at IIT Mumbai at the Science Center, and basically be evaluated by about 10 investor angel groups and VCs. And much more beyond that, we had about 25 to 30 CXOs of hospitals, founders, owners, neurologists, neurosurgeons, cardiac surgeons. So it was actually outstanding to have that interaction where we're actually getting to the fundamentals of some of these innovations. But at the end of the day, we had to have winners. We have to look for the technologies that might make a difference in the team. So I think it's with that we want to kind of have these 4 presentations. We've shortlisted these 4, 2 honorable mentions and 2 winners of the award.
Thank you, Sam. So as he has given the background of how you have gone through the proper, such a long process of evaluation, and you've been selected through a jury of so many accomplished people. So we look forward to hearing from you. I think all of us are very eager to hear the solutions that you are here to present.
Sanjeev, why don't we jump to the next one, because now we're getting to hyper specific. We've got a very interesting diagnostic special one, and we've got a genetic specialist. So
my name is Dr. Anirban Chatterjee. I'm one of the co-founders of HaystackAnalytics. Getting straight into it, to appreciate the problem slightly at a more personal level. If we have all gone through this, and we have heard of, unfortunately, of some of our close and near ones go through some of these episodes. We have 2 examples here. The top example on the top is a person who is undergoing chemotherapy, goes to one of the best hospitals in this country, and while the chemotherapy was going on, the person gets infected with an infection, and then a few days later lands up in the ICU with sepsis. A very different case, as you're seeing in the case downstairs in the slide, is a patient who is healthy at home, but then develops an infection, goes to a general practitioner, and after a few rounds of antibiotic is not getting any relief from the infection. In fact, it's getting worse, and the patient lands up in the ICU. The problem with infections is that we know how to treat them if we can catch it early and catch it right. The difference between an infection and a multi-organ failure is something that is leading the cause of death all over the world, so much so that it is estimated by 2050, antimicrobial resistance is going to cost the world economy about $100 trillion. And there are newer infections emerging every now and then. And we have heard of COVID more than our fair share. The intensity of the problem is so much that in the US, it is now believed that the leading cause of death in hospitals in the US is sepsis. And the world has taken its notice at the same level as global warming and has put it as one of the greatest risks to humanity going forward, to be able to serve and prevent infections and actually treat them. What has become the greatest Achilles heels in treating infections is poor diagnosis, which results in incorrect therapy. And the biggest problem of all, that incorrect therapy results in poor outcome. Despite several innovative technologies, starting from microbial culture to real-time PCRs, and actually several other platforms which integrate culture with real-time PCRs, even today, less than 20% of infections are diagnosed as positive, while the patient is showing symptoms of sepsis. It's not that we don't know the solution. Genome sequencing has come to the rescue of infectious diseases as we know it, not only in COVID sequencing, but in tuberculosis diagnosis, which is now being shifted to genome sequencing from microbiology. While genomics is the answer to several diagnostic questions of infectious diseases, the big problem is genome sequencing is locked up in the best labs of the world. It is locked up in IIT, it is locked up in Harvard, it's locked up in Oxford. It is not available in the neighborhood lab. It is not available in the neighborhood hospital. At HaystackAnalytics, we are reimagining genomics. And we are reimagining genomics where we are making a difference at the hospital for the patient and the clinician. These two patients that we are talking about, they were subjected to the brand new test that we have created called the Universal ID test. And these two patients who could not be diagnosed with the best technologies in the world today were being diagnosed with the right infection at a turnaround time which was unthinkable prior to we deploying the solution. And each of those patients have come back to us and thanked us for saving the lives of the patient. While the clinicians were able to give the right medicine, we were able to enable the clinician to appreciate what is the infection and what medicine will work. The Universal ID platform is based on nanopore sequencing. It is at a cost which is significantly lesser than any genomic solution or, in fact, any RT-PCR solution out there. It is a combined product which includes the nanopore sequencer, a kit which enables a direct from blood processing, and a software which completely eliminates the need for manual bioinformatics and gives a report in less than 12 hours. This is the first test which can be deployed at the hospital using genome sequencing. It is direct from sample. It does not require a culture. The turnaround time is less than 12 hours. And it can find out 1,200 plus pathogens along with the antimicrobial susceptibility in a single test direct from sample. We are really proud to say that this is the second test that has been approved by the CDSCO as a genomic test that can be rolled out in India. In fact, the first test that was given the approval was also a test made by us, which is now used across India for TB genome sequencing and drug susceptibility profiling. What you are able to see here is a test which clearly identifies for the clinician the gene which is responsible for antimicrobial resistance and the antibiotics that will not work for this patient, the pathogen that was detected, and the confidence of the detection that has been done, which makes us come very close to solving the age-old problem of dead versus alive. We have partnered with some of the most respected names in diagnostics and hospitals in this country. We are now expanding with our clutch of tests for infectious diseases beyond the shores of India and trying to impact every lab possible and making every lab in the world enabled to use clinical genomics and to take decisions. We are in a very select company where there is another startup in US, CAHOTECH, which has now been able to make the same technology available, but differently, where they use central lab processing and not taking the technology sequencing at the hospital itself. We have been able to make this technology where sequencing can be deployed at the hospital at an unthinkable cost of less than Indian rupees, 3 lakh rupees. The complete sequencing is available at that cost. What we are now therefore trying is, while we are trying to solve for sepsis with the confidence that we get from the success of sepsis, we want to move it for all inpatients in the hospital, creating the world's greatest pathogen detection platform and a network which will be able to identify novel pathogens, identify new antimicrobial resistance, and we then will be able to predict what kind of infections are happening in a spatiotemporal manner across the world. We started our journey as a test for tuberculosis. We have already logged in last financial year a revenue of $250,000. This year, we are projected to log about $2 million in revenue, about 14 crores. And as we go forward with more and more deployments, coming to 10,000 deployments across hospitals, we expect to hit $1 billion per revenue over the next 5 years. From CAHO, we are expecting support in modernizing clinical microbiology. We are expecting support in modernizing our hospitals. We are expecting support in modernizing our clinical decision, enabling genomic screening for pathogens in every hospital, creating the world's greatest global network of pathogen genomes, leading antimicrobial stewardship program across the world, saving lives, and more importantly, saving the drugs. We are a team of scientists and engineers based out of IIT Bombay. I myself have spent some time at University of Oxford and DTU, Denmark, as a postdoc. Professor Kiran is a professor of molecular biology at Institute of Indian Institute of Technology, Bombay. Gaurav Srivastava, our co-founder and CEO, is from IIT Kharagpur, and Priyanku is a CTO with tremendous experience in building globally relevant SaaS platforms, which we are now using to create the bioinformatics capability that we have already been able to do. I wouldn't have been able to do this with tremendous young minds and researchers who have really put all that they can to create this path-breaking technology right out of IIT Bombay in India, which we now actually hope to take all across the world. Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Chatterjee. I think this was, I mean, as we told you on the day, quite impressive to see. And I think CAHO Diagnostics, this is definitely a great platform for you to leverage. And just like you have expectations of CAHO, I'm pretty sure many of our leaders and clinicians will have expectations from you, which we're pretty sure that you'll be able to deliver. So please continue to stay involved with CAHO.